Hey, happy pre-Thanksgiving
Happy
time. Yay.
pre-Thanksgiving. How are you, Maim? How
I'm
are you?
okay. I got a little bit of a foggy voice. I forgot to take my allergy medicine once, and this is what
That's
happened.
that's okay as long as it's not COVID. So I just want to let you know that I before this, as I was waiting on you, I was looking at the Facebook TikToks, whatever they're called now, and I had a thought, a THOT. Tell me, tell me that you have to start your day in a good mood. Make yourself be in a good mood. And I said to him, fuck you. That's He's like, you control your own mood. Make it a good one.
I mean, I guess, but like, what if I like starting my day in a not great mood?
I mean, my God, I've got to get my coffee. I've got to get my food. I mean, it's Thanksgiving week, so it's got to start with bacon at least two or three times. Like,
Oh,
God,
that's what I forgot. I knew I forgot to get something at the
bacon.
store. That was what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Did you buy collards at least?
No, this we do collards at Christmas. Where this is the green bean casserole one.
Ugh.
So, I love green
So
bean casserole
so
for
I
Christmas.
am like the only person, and I know that I am in the minority here. Surprise, between us, I'm the minority. Uh, I do not like green bean casserole. I
Well, well, actually, it's funny, right? So that's actually not. That's something that I grew to love after I left home. My family was not big into green bean casserole either. That's something that and it might be because I make it my specific kind of way that I like it so
uh
much.
huh. How
But
much
yeah, like my
butter is in
family,
it?
I don't use actually a lot of butter. I think what makes mine good is that I use a combination of Swiss and white cheddar
Okay.
in the concoction before I bake it. So I think that that's why I think mine is kind of good. But yeah, it's my family's not hugely into it.
So I have two things to talk about today before we get into today's episode. Two things.
Okay, two.
Two something, a bit of news from hometown, hometown news, and then something I found out. So we're
Okay.
we're going to start with something I found out because I don't know if you know this. There's a restaurant in LA. There's a restaurant in LA that's the Lowry Seasoning Restaurant.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again for
The
me?
Lowry's Seasoning Restaurant.
As in, they actually have like the Lowry's Corporation has
Yeah, yeah, yes,
co-signed them.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes,
What?
yes, yes. Oh, yes,
Why are we
yes.
not there right now?
Because we'd have to fly somewhere.
Oh my god, but it's worth it. Girl, they put. I wonder if they. You know what though? I bet you they get. I bet you they get crazy with it though. They probably have to kind of mess like some Lowry's ice cream or something like that.
I mean, wouldn't you try it
And
though?
I mean, I would if it was like a Lowry's chicken and waffles ice cream kind of flavor.
There's an ice cream place near me that I've not yet tried it yet because I just it hurts my soul to think about. They have a flaming hot Cheetos ice cream. I don't particularly like flaming hot Cheetos to begin with, right? Like I'm not a give me some Takis. Just
Ooh,
don't
girl,
screw around
Takis.
with the flaming
Ooh,
hot Cheetos.
Takis.
Just give
Ooh.
me some Takis in
Ugh.
any flavor of them. The blue one, the red one, the yellow one.
Ugh.
Just give me some Takis.
I love the guacamole Taki
You
so
know
much.
what? Sure.
Ugh.
You 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 white
Flaming
woman.
flaming hot cheat. You know it's funny, but here's okay. Now this is kind of weird though, right? So
Is it?
I really like art. This is gonna sound very strange. I really like artificially flavored guacamole things, but I don't actually like guacamole or avocados.
That doesn't sound weird to me at all. You're a child of the '80s.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Like
go.
like like I found out something very important about my dear husband.
Okay.
We were at a soccer game, and I wanted a snowball, not the kind, not no, the ice with the syrup, And he said, you can get any flavors you want. And I joked and said, okay, well, I'll get coconut because he doesn't like coconut.
Okay.
And he's like, any flavor because we're going to split it. It's like, fine, I'll get strawberry and blue raspberry.
Okay.
Classic combination.
Yeah.
My husband, who is much younger than me, cannot stand blue raspberry. Did not know that till after this. He's like, this tastes fake. I was like, that's the best part.
So when are you guys getting divorced? That to me is like finding out your like significant other has a completely other family. Like that's like what? What? What do you mean? What are you
I'm the one
about?
with the other family, so I can't get divorced.
That's true. Never mind. That's true. That's disheartening. That's disheartening.
So are you ready for some hometown news?
I mean, I'm.
It's nothing exciting.
Damn it! I was hoping it was gonna be something real good, so I could be like, "Girl, what?"
No.
Okay.
It's just about growth and prosperity in Hickory, North Carolina. Are you ready? I'm sorry. I started this just as soon as Maim was taking a drink of something, and she's a little verklempt right now. So App State is opening a new branch in Hickory, North Carolina.
Oh wow, that's great.
That's it. That's all I got. The old Corning plant that shut the hell down because
Yeah.
they're gonna take it over and it's the biggest building they'll have and like
That's
yeah.
really cool. No, I actually I'm so sorry. Like for some reason, just the just the words growth and development in Hickory just made me laugh
It's
so
one
much.
of the fastest growing towns in North Carolina. People love Hickory.
I mean, I haven't been there in over a
It's
decade.
still the exact same, except Hickory Dickory Dock closed down.
Here I was thinking you're gonna tell me some like thing about it, and you're like, it's not changed, girl. It's the same. It's the same as it was a decade ago when you left.
Has it only been a decade?
It's been 10 years. 10 years. It was 2011.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow. You didn't even know you'd be a drag queen at that point.
I did not.
I
I mean,
mean, I tried to tell you from the
yeah.
age of 5 that you would be.
You know what though? Let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
Uh huh.
The kind of drag queen that I am at this point, I probably would have not actually been this kind of drag queen had I started earlier. Right? Like this whole kind of like old Maim persona that is such a very that probably would have been more difficult for me back then. Like if I
I
had done that, I
I would
think.
like to disagree.
Okay.
The reason I would like to disagree is your first drag influence was Mrs. Slocum.
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
Like
All
why
of my all of my drag influences were old women.
why are you trying to pull off the cat hair for your microphone? It's covered. It is absolutely covered. Like you can't see it from this end with like this the light shining on it. It's a pop cover that's just cat hair. Like
It's a pop cover on top of a pop cover.
exactly. Like it is
That's why it
real
sounds so
gross.
good. It's not
It is.
gross. It's not real gross.
I bought these little tiny pop covers. Dear listeners, if you can't tell, I changed my mic up to something a lot cheaper. And it probably sounds a lot better because I have a weird ass echo in my room. There's an echo in my room. Is that a song?
I don't know that song.
But I bought these tiny little pop covers that look like little penis covers.
I don't. Do you have one on there right now? I don't see one on
A
there.
penis?
No, a pop cover. I don't see a pop cover.
No, if there's not one, it sounds better without it. They were $3 for Amazon, so I'm not that worried.
Wow. Just wow. A lot of things are happening today.
You know, the supply chain will screw us up with everything, but I can get a pop cover for Amazon overnight. Let me
I
just
mean,
tell you.
I'm worried about the supply chain like everybody else, but my Amazon orders have been coming out just fine.
Yeah, it's because Jeff Bezos is evil.
Oh, okay. That's a
Speaking of that, you can find our podcast on Audible, which is owned by Amazon. You can actually ask Alexa to play Baking Sugar. And
yes.
she will. She will. And while she's doing that, why don't you go to our Patreon page? Did you know we have a Patreon page, babe?
Tell us more. I didn't know that.
You know, at patreon.com/baking sugar, you can give us some money. Because you know what this podcast takes? Money.
Oh
And,
wait, actually, you have I got a solicitation. FYI, I'll
oh,
talk to you about it later. Somebody wants to donate a one-time gift to us.
a one time gift?
Yeah,
A one time gift?
yeah,
Is it dollars?
yeah.
Oh.
They reached out to me. They're like, "How do I just do it like a one-time gift? Because if I go on Patreon, it's all like repeating stuff. I just want to give you guys like a lump sum."
I, I, I,
Yeah, yeah.
Tell, dear listeners, if you want to give us a lump sum, you can reach out to me at thedivinemissmims at thedivinemissmims.com.
Oh, oh my god.
And I will gladly take your money. And Maim won't see a cent of it.
It's gonna go back into production.
That's right. Oh God, are we a lump sum really?
Yeah.
Can, message me on this.
Okay, I'll do that.
On this.
I just forgot. I mean, last week I kind of forgot because there's a lot of stuff that happened in my
Yes.
life. So I forgot until just now, and I was like, "Oh wait."
We don't have to apologize on this podcast for that. We do have to apologize on our other podcast for that whenever that happens because we did leave them high and dry, high and dry. Well, that's been an interesting intro. Um, that's a lot of things we just covered, Maim.
That's what we do. Cover stuff.
Yeah, and like seemed real greedy for a hot second, right?
You were doing like Don Knotts spit takes there for a second. You were
Well,
like,
look. I didn't expect anybody to give me money, just like I did not expect this episode, season 2, episode 6, Dash Goff, the writer.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that's Marjorie. Just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out. And that is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
I still say it's a very sweet episode.
Well, we'll get into it, won't we?
Yes.
So we're at Sugar Baker's,
Sugar Bakers.
and Anthony has asked Maryjo to do a book report for him on The Great Gatsby.
Which is insane.
Yes. I like, just speaking from my own personal preference, I don't like The Great Gatsby that much. I know it's the great American novel. I know. Give me some Toni Morrison that makes me feel bad. That's what I want in my life. I don't care about some rich ass white people in a green light.
I remember reading it. I can't remember what year it was.
It was senior year.
No. I read it earlier than that.
Oh.
Because I don't know why. I just did. And but I remember. Oh, I remember. I got it from one of the book fairs.
Oh, okay.
And but I remember distinctly because I read it on my way to New York one of the summers for our like vacation, and I left it out on the balcony of my uncle's place, and it was soaking wet, and I was really upset because I didn't understand the concept of like books getting wet like that. It's just not. I was just like, what? How does this? Will it dry out? And my mom's like, it might. I remember just like I was very confused reading that book. I was just like,
I let in high school, actually shortly after high school, I lent my copy of oh God, Catcher in the Rye, another book that is a lot.
yes, that's a good way of putting that.
I lent it to a friend of mine for 5 months or something like that. They brought it back to me, and they had left it in the back of their car, and like the first 30 pages were bleached. And I'm like, what do you want me to just? What? Why? How did? First of all, how did it get bleached this far into the book, right? And then, second of all, what do you even want me to do with this book now? Like, I wasn't planning on reading it again, but if I wanted to, like, what am I gonna do? I have a story about novels. Senior year, picture it. Senior year.
Dear listeners, this is an unprompted segue. Just FYI.
Picture it. Senior year, AP English. AP English. We were supposed to read. Oh God, what's the one where the horse dies? Crime and Punishment.
I love that book.
Oh, there's God.
I loved it so much.
Weren't we also supposed to read Portrait? No, sorry, it was Portrait of an Artist, a Young Man. It was Portrait of an Artist.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to read that book, and our teacher swore to God she could tell whenever we read the Cliff's Notes. Bitch, I read the Cliff's Notes for that thing, and I made the highest grade I'd ever made in a paper in that.
So, dear listeners, Divine Mims and I have had this one point of contention in our relationship in that he is very brilliant but doesn't read, and it makes me crazy.
So the problem is that I tried to read every book in that class. Okay, I did, and I made it through some real trash. Like I read Heart of Darkness, that horrible, horrible book. I made it through 3 pages of James Joyce's Portrait of an Artist's Young Man. I threw that book against the wall and said, I will never pick that back up. I made it through 100 pages of the 7,000 page book Crime and Punishment.
It's not 7,000 pages.
8,000 page book Crime and Punishment, and threw it against the wall and said, I will never read this book again. There's only a third book I've ever done that to. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
I never even tried that one.
It is so misogynistic.
After hearing the glowing review of one of our quote unquote friends, I was like, I'll never read this book.
I mean, they were.
If you love it, then I know I'm not going to.
I mean, weren't they your friend? Because they weren't mine. I was the only one who was honest about it. And call me a liar right then. Call me a liar.
I mean, I'm not, but I thought they were my friends. I mean, I just,
So Anthony is like, Julia makes him feel bad because it's cheating.
Yeah, it is cheating.
And Anthony's like, well, and Suzanne's like, well, he is an ex-con, so what's it even matter? To which Julia says, we've all made mistakes in our lifetime, like that turban you wore at your third wedding, where everybody said she looked like Elizabeth Taylor, but she really looked like Nehru, the Indian Prime Minister, in which there's a little racism joke afterwards.
A little bit of racism, but my goodness, it was hard for me to get through the racism part because my brain couldn't stop picturing her in the turban looking like Elizabeth Taylor because I love a good turban.
I pictured her looking like Gloria fucking Swanson.
I don't want to look like a dead woman. You understand? Yes, Miss Albert. Good. Then maybe we'll be friends. Not good ones. Sorry for that soap dish moment there, dear listener. Sorry for that.
Dear listeners, if you have never seen Soap Dish,
Please go watch.
I'm going to need to take a pause. And I'm going to need you to pause this, go watch it for 2 hours, then come back to this. Because we won't talk about it again this episode, probably. But it is so quintessential to our life, our essence,
literally,
who we are.
That's not hyperbolic either.
No. There are few movies that shaped us more than that movie, right? Like, I can't.
Our entire drag is based off of Soap Dish.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So Maryjo asks for the report back.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony's like, blah, blah, blah. I hate irony. I hate this. I just want a simple story. To which Charlene suggests one of her trashy romance novels.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, that may not be that bad. Also, this is a huge stereotype for Anthony, not liking literature, right?
I know. Yes.
And why not just have him read of Mice and Men?
Well,
he doesn't like that. There's Steinbeck. There's Steinbeck right there.
Well, I think that though, right? Because the thing is, it is a stereotype. However, we then get a counter of the stereotype later because it's not that he doesn't like it; it's just that he's not been explained it properly.
That's true.
Right? So we get to see like a little bit of a what's that movie called with Michelle Pfeiffer?
Why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Dangerous
Minds.
Minds, yes.
Yeah, so we get to see a little bit of a mini Dangerous Minds there.
God, that Coolio. Oh. Oh, that song. I love that song. It is just, I love the video where Michelle Pfeiffer walks in, turns the chair around, sits down while Coolio's rapping in the back. It's a nonsense.
It's such a great video.
So Dash Goff just walks in.
Yes.
And you may or may not know him. I found out that only my generation knows who this person is, as Major Dad from television's Major Dad. The several season long thing where a major dad from the Marines falls in love with a liberal journalist. It's Major. He's very stuck in the mud and like stuck in the mud. What the hell phrase is that? He's a stick in the mud.
You used it. I'm not sure. You said that. I mean, I guess it's so hard to say now, right? There are going to be people like this throughout the show where younger generations are really not going to know it. Yeah. It's kind of like It's a Living, right? Like Major Dad didn't really get the kind of replay life, like it didn't get a lot of, I think it was on a couple of
except it was redone in what's that horrible Ted Allen show that's on Last Man Standing.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that. So I mean, it is like one of those situations, but it's an especially important episode. I don't know why Mims is not mentioning this, because the actor that plays Dash is actually Suzanne Sugar Baker's real life husband.
Because we haven't gotten to that point.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I
mean, you were doing an introduction to him, so I was.
Well, you're skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead. It's right here. You're skipping ahead. We find out that Dash Goff, Suzanne's ex-husband, has been teaching in Fayetteville. So I had to do a little bit of research. Okay. There are 3 Fayettevilles he could have been teaching in.
Okay.
He could have been at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Got it.
He could have been at Georgia Military in Fayetteville, Georgia. Or he could have been at Fayetteville State in North Carolina.
I'm going to say it's probably either Georgia or North Carolina.
Well, let's say it's North Carolina because it's HBCU. So let's go with that.
Oh, then he definitely didn't teach there.
Well, he's a liberal.
That he didn't.
He's depressed. And
He
so
is
are
very
we for
depressed.
having him to watch him act.
He's not so much an actor as he is a character, and he's always the same character. He's not really that great of an actor.
So I will say that in Major Dad, he at least showed more emotion than this.
Well, he was playing a dad. And I think
a major one.
And if I'm not mistaken,
A major one.
I'm trying.
I'm going to say it one more time till I get a giggle. A major one. A major one? A major dad. He played a major dad.
But you know what?
A major one.
But the thing too, though, that we don't remember, and you probably never watch a show. But
which one? Major Dad?
No, technically he was already famous because I don't. You never watched the other show. He was already on an iconic show called Simon and Simon.
Oh, was it Major Dad?
No, it was before Major Dad. Oh. It was literally it was a very popular show about these two brothers.
Well, no one wanted his novel, just like they don't want him to be in this episode.
You're the only person that's saying that. You are so difficult on this dude.
There are so many other character actors that it could have been, right? I will say, I'm going to stop real quick and just say, throw J.K. Simmons into this role. And it becomes a much more tolerable. But we're going to save that for the end.
Wouldn't J.K. Simmons have been in his 20s if this was on?
No! J.K. Simmons has been old since we've been young.
Oh, no. Did you? What? What does that even mean?
I would, in the eternal words of Adele Dazeem, let it go. Let it go. I'm a lesbian now. Let it go.
He would have been. He's almost 10 years younger than the actor that played Dash.
Even better because Dash was old.
Dash was 44.
Yeah.
Right, but this was supposed to be Suzanne's one of her first marriages.
Yes, that she met when she was in college, and he's 10 years older than her, which means he was a teacher there.
Ooh,
yeah, put it together, girl. Put it together. She's 30, 14 years older.
I didn't do that math.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Are we better now? Are we better? Do we got it?
I don't.
Creepy.
Define better.
All right, he got turned down for TV too for this book.
So he got turned down for TV. He got turned down for movies. How much worse can it possibly get?
Did he get turned down for what?
TV and movies. I hate you. God, no. No. What is happening right now?
I hated this episode so much. It was so bad. It hurt so much to even watch it the second time. Okay, let's okay.
Girl.
So we go through a little stereotyping here because he's like the character that I was told the characters were all unbelievable because they're all black sheep, and all Southerners are black sheep already.
That's right. Apparently.
Well, they all want to read it. Everybody wants to read it. It's called Being Belled.
It is a terrible title. It is. I think it would have even if you just took off the being part, it would have at least sounded,
So at this point, dear Mr. Mims said, "Doesn't this feel like Lynn Blower Thompson got something rejected and was pissed about it?"
I felt
like she got a book rejected and was just pissed about it.
I felt like that, but I also felt Okay, so this was my thought process, and by the end, I really felt this way.
Uh-huh.
I felt like this was supposed to be almost like designing women through the lens of Tennessee Williams, right?
Sure.
Like the aging beauty
What?
queen, the failed writer.
Here's one, and you could even go deeper on the creepy. You could have had Marlon Brando do it. Yeah, late '80s Marlon Brando doing this.
It's like Godfather, post
Yeah.
Godfather Marlon Brando.
Yes. Yes. I can't even do a Marlon Brando. How you doing there? That's somewhat. Hey Suzanne, it's been great.
Have you ever watched The Godfather before? Have you seen
Yes, yes. What is his quintessential line? Brando's. Uh, oh God. Make him offer you can't refuse.
You sound like the old dude on Soap Dish that says, "What is he yelling?" That's what you sound like right now.
So, Julia decides to read an excerpt from this, and all I wrote down was blah 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 bad writing. But it's like Tennessee Williams meets uh Jackie Collins. Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
bad.
Which I don't know why that doesn't excite you like it excites me. For
You
some
see,
reason,
you say
that's
I
not
don't like to read, and the thing is, I don't like to read crap.
I
And
don't
there's a
read
lot
Jackie
of crap
Collins.
out there.
I mean, I don't read Jackie Collins books anymore.
Would you? Jackie Collins would be better than this.
Oh yeah, no, her stuff was great. I mean, like technically, she could really. That lady knew her way around some words for the human body.
What was the name of that? Wasn't something diamonds or sapphires or like it
She did.
sounded like white diamonds by
Yeah, no, she did like a whole series of books with like those kind of like gemstone type titles in them. Rest in peace, Jackie Collins. Rest in peace.
rest in peace, girl. Rest in peace. So now we're at Susan. Is she dead?
Yeah.
Oh. Speaking of people who were dead, who aren't actually aren't. Last night on SNL, which was a very episode. Um, did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, you're not missing.
Okay.
So Pete Davidson, I think this season they're like Davidson. You get to do a song every time.
Oh no.
He did a Walking in Memphis, but it was Walking in Staten, about Staten Island.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right. And Mark Cohen, who wrote Walking in Memphis, came on and started singing with him.
Shut up.
And I was like, I thought he was dead. I was confused because he was just shot after a concert in 2005. I think it was 2005.
Someone shot that dude?
Yeah.
Whoa. Was it like drugs or something?
No. He was
Did they
just
just
2 feet off a bill.
I hate you so much.
But do you really feel the way I feel
I hate you
about
right
this
now.
episode?
You are talk about avoidance. You are doing everything but talking about this
So
episode.
we're back at Suzanne's.
Yes.
And he's lying on the couch smoking this
Yeah.
never-ending cigarette. It is like a Willy Wonka cigarette that just
Once again,
does not
Tennessee
end throughout
Williams.
this entire scene.
I'm telling you what, think about all of the set pieces with them and her and him. It's like it's screaming Tennessee Williams movie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
telling
it
you.
is. It is. It is. It is. Especially this beautiful dress she's wearing. This A-frame, gorgeous
that
dress. There's some
dress.
gorgeous dress in this. The red dress that Suzanne was wearing at the beginning. This gorgeous dress. You'll go to Julia's white dress with the shawl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good one for that.
Anyway, he's smoking. He's laying down. He's smoking. Suzanne moves the phone away from him because he's just been lying there moping, waiting on a call
For 3 days.
for 3 days. He probably has a smell, a majorly bad smell. Nothing? Nothing? Nothing?
I hate it so much. It's so bad.
So Suzanne brings out pictures of her sorority where they met. She was in the kissing booth. She had the longest line and the most pay, or it costs the most to kiss her. Now, here's where you interject. He's 44. She just turned 31 because we're a year later, so 31. 13 years difference. He paid to kiss a student while he was in college.
Yes.
I hear crickets. Michael Keaton. How would Michael Keaton have been at this?
Michael Keaton? What?
I'm just throwing names out there.
Do you remember what Michael Keaton was like in the 80s?
Yes.
He was
Yes.
very neurotic and very kind of like
Yes.
Mr. Mom and all of that. That would have not.
Yes.
That would have been weird.
He could have played an eccentric Southern writer.
I don't think he's ever played a Southern character.
He could have. Like,
I love it. You're just like, he could have.
yeah, like. I mean,
Anybody but this person.
anybody but this person.
Very good.
Was Ted Danson available?
Yes, he was doing Cheers.
So he was not available.
Exactly.
What about? Wait.
Oh, Gutenberg. What about Gutenberg?
I was going to say was Steve Gutenberg was also a movie star at this time. We need TV stars. I was going to say was
Remember back then, everyone? Remember when there used to be a distinction between TV stars and movie stars?
yeah,
Remember that?
it was a great time.
It used to be considered really
Mr.
terrible for your career.
Miyagi.
Mr.
Would have been a better actor.
There's so much wrong with that. So
Why?
much.
Why?
There's so much wrong with that. There's like the age difference and everything else. It's like that would have just been even weirder.
Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest could have done it back then. He
Yeah,
would have been. He would have been
see.
closer to her age. Yeah,
See,
that's
but
true.
she definitely would not have kissed a black person, so there's that.
No, even if he paid.
Uh-huh. And Suzanne's like, well, why were we ever married? And he said, well, he wanted to be a writer, but he hadn't suffered enough. And now he has.
Yes.
And she's like, well, what made you suffer? Was it when I threw out those papers? And apparently she threw out his third novel.
Which that was something you could actually do back then when people
There's
still
a phone
had.
call.
Oh, who's on the phone?
No one wants his work. He
Oh,
got
no.
turned down even for paperback.
Oh, not paperback. Oh no.
Even for paperback. Dear listeners, back in the day, and I don't know if this is still true, you went hardcover, paperback. Some things went straight to paperback. And you know, movies were usually after the paperback version, right? Or the script came about the same time. Things could go straight to paperback if they were real trash. Sort of like they go straight to Amazon Prime or Amazon whenever they're complete trash now.
Self-publishing.
Self-publishing. What's the name of that gay one you read?
Oh, Chuck Tingle.
Yeah. If you ever want to read some real funny smut, y'all.
And he's expanded into everything now. He does everything. He does gay, he does lesbian, he does trans, he does everything now.
He's a 44-year-old failure.
David,
David, what's his name? What's the last name? Goff. Goff.
Could you believe he was 44? Because I couldn't.
I thought he was like 52, 53.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay, good. So you were trending older as well. So there's a classic Star Trek villain, like in TNG. There's the episode where BB Newworth has sex with Commander Riker. I don't know if you've ever seen this episode.
I have.
But like it's great. So I was like, he looks a lot like this alien, but this alien had so much gravitas and like could hold a scene, and I was like, is it him? Because if so, he forgot how to act at some point. No, it's not him.
Okay.
So now we're at Sugarbakers.
Back at Sugarbakers.
And we find out that Dash is driving Suzanne crazy.
Yeah, well, he's a failure.
And they're all like, why? His book is so great. It's so pithy. They never said pithy. It's definitely not pithy. It's trash. But when Charlene loves it that much, and like they're
Yes.
all reading little snippets and blah 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 blah. Julia finally says, "You know what? To cheer him up, I'm gonna fuck his brains out." But first, we have to have dinner.
You caught me off guard there. Oh, wow.
I mean, is that not what it felt like?
You caught me off guard.
But is that not what it felt like?
It felt like that when they came back from the dinner. It did feel like that. I was like, what's happening right now? I'm a little confused.
Well,
'Cause
they go to dinner. They come back. Julia's in this beautiful white outfit with a shawl he takes from her and puts up onto a coat rack because that's where scarves and shawls go. Whatever.
It is.
She pours them both some bourbon, whiskey or brandy of your choice.
A brown liquor.
A brown liquor that has been sitting underneath that stage light for at least 7 hours and probably tastes like sugared ass. Anyway, and like they're flirting back and forth. She asks him if she was in the novel. And he's like, "Yes. Did you not see yourself in there?" She's like, "Well, there's a smart-tongued woman in there." And yes. Oh wait, I skipped a part. She wants to, instead of having sex, she wants to start a study club.
I thought that was nice.
Because sex with him is probably really boring.
Oh, jeez. I don't think she would have sex with him. That's her ex-brother-in-law.
It sounded like she wanted to. I really miss you being my
brother-in-law. That's
You know he's got some creepy fetishes that are weirder than feet.
wow. Weirder than feet?
Yeah, feet. A foot fetish is kind of meh. Like in the weird scope of fetishes, the feet are down here.
That's true, actually. In the pantheon of fetishes,
yeah, like feet are nothing. Feet are nothing. I'm talking like scat is what I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking. Suzanne had to poop in the corner every once in a while. Dear listeners, I apologize for this episode going completely off the rails. I have turned a corner, and I am sorry. I'm going to try to steer it back. But can't you just picture her and one of her dresses having tonight? I'm sorry. Just.
I mean,
Speaking of, I have a story about this. My friend was with her, tried to get frisky. This was in college. She was trying to get frisky with a boyfriend at the time, and he was like, "Hey, let's do something new. Let's watch some porn." She's like, "That sounds good. Let's do it." Right? That happens. So she's like, "You pick whatever you want." You know, it was at the time of like LimeWire. So she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, this sounds kind of hot." So she hit go. They went out to dinner and came back because that's when the porn would be over. Downloaded.
That's right.
Yeah. So they came back. She turned it on, and it like started off like a normal porn movie. The intercourse was occurring as happens, and then the woman got up, went over to the corner of the room, took a crap, said "I'm sorry," and left. And scene.
I have so many questions now.
Well, I wasn't there, so I can't answer them.
What? Like what? What did? Never mind. What? That doesn't make any sense.
So now Charlene and Dash are at a diner.
Yes. Is Charlene, Dash, and Anthony, right?
2 different times. Charlene.
That was 2 different times. I
Yes.
was not 100% sure.
That's what I took from, because Charlene and he were in a booth. He and Anthony were like sitting in chairs.
So basically, like everybody was trying to cheer Dash up.
Yeah, except for Maryjo.
Which is why nobody had a descriptor about her.
Hold that thought. So Charlene's like, I loved your book, but I'm just a basic person. You don't even want to hear about me, my thing. And he says, Charlene, there's nothing average about you. Well, what would you write about me? He would write, blah, blah, blah. She had legs that stretched for 5 or 6 miles. Stretched down for 5 or 6 miles.
Hmm.
I guess they can't stretch up. That reminds me of the legs eggs commercial. The pantyhose that were in the eggs and the
Oh yeah. Oh, the eggs. Oh my gosh, I forgot about those.
yes, yes.
And everybody's mom used to give them the egg to play with afterward.
Of course. I always loved it when the gold ones, like sometimes the eggs were gold.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, those are. I think that's the ones that were sheer.
yeah. And like you would. What does queen mean? That means I've gained weight, honey. Later on in life, when I got my first egg, queen meant something else.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then so Charlene would write about Dash. Dash Goff. Darn sweet. The best writing of the entire show. Anyway. So now we pan over to Anthony, and Anthony tells Dash, this is actually the best writing of the entire show. This wonderful story about a magician who was a failed magician, and like he wanted the kid to lie, Anthony to lie about him when he was younger, and like, yeah, that's great. You don't have any.
It was a cute story. I mean,
Yeah, no, I like that. This is a good Anthony episode.
but I also thought to myself, like, wait, so you've been arrested more than once?
I mean, he's black
when
in
he
the South.
when he said that, I was like,
Yeah. So now we're back at Sugar Bakers, and we're having the class. Anthony's reading what he wrote for his book report. At least that's what I took from it.
Oh, I thought he was reading a portion from The Great Gatsby.
No. He was reading a summary.
No, he was reading a quote for The Great Gatsby because
Was
that's when
he?
Yeah, because then Dash said that's one of the best pieces of American writing. Blah blah blah. He was reading from the Great. He was holding
Okay, I
the
didn't know if it
book
was
in his hand.
Okay.
He was holding the book in his hand.
Doesn't mean anything. So Suzanne's like, "Who's Daisy? Did she marry little Abner?"
Which nobody's gonna get that joke at this point.
No.
Nobody.
So, and for those of you that don't know, Daisy was the girl in Great Gatsby.
Yes. And also the girl that Lil Abner was in love with.
Who played Daisy in the horrible version that just came out not too long ago? Wasn't it Boz Luhrmann's version?
Carey Mulligan, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That look on your face. You just look disgusted by everything today.
Well, okay. Why not pick a Faulkner novel? They're in the South. Throwing that out there.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Or Hemingway, like, yeah. or make it a short story thing and make it Flannery O'Connor. Like, there's so many. Flannery O'Connor's fantastic.
I know that.
How
But
dare you, sir?
You are deep diving right now to find ways to fix this episode. It's already done. It's never going to be fixed again.
No. So Dash then says the most offensive thing in the entire episode, that our language banks are shrinking and we're not using adjectives correctly anymore, and blah 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 blah. And Anthony goes, huh? Maryjo goes, we don't talk good. And he says, that's right, we don't talk good, which is a direct attack at every little bit of African American English out there, and Ebonics and Southern English and like any kind of slang and like very racist. Let's just leave it at that. It's racist. That's a racism. I found a racism right there. Disagree with me.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not.
Are you not saying anything just like in the UK Drag Race? Or was it Canada's Drag Race? Which one? It's Canada's Drag Race. Have you watched Canada's Drag Race yet?
Not this week's, no.
Girl, there's something. I
For real? Okay.
you're gonna go. I have a question for you whenever it happens because my husband and I felt a way about it,
Okay.
and we did not agree with the judges.
Oh, okay.
We felt like it was inappropriate.
Oh.
Anyway, but since you ain't watched it, we can't talk about it.
That's true. So
I'm gonna need you right after this while you're eating your meal.
My
Your meal. I don't know what kind of meal you're gonna be eating, but while you're eating your meal, to tell me what you think
okay.
while you're eating your meal.
Well, I'm eating my meal. I won't be
I
able
was
to
gonna
watch
say
it.
some vittles, but that's bad English.
I'll have to watch it later. I have to finish my prom dress after this call. After we're doing this.
So we then go through like some he has a little part of his class where he wants people to say descriptors and like write some fancy words to describe each other. Julia wore old money as casually as last year's clothes. And so
I'm glad you wrote these down, by the way, because I was like,
didn't write all down.
Should I write them down? Or...
Suzanne, he then says, don't say who they're about. So Suzanne writes one, he was like an ex-convict who cheated on a book report.
Which I found kind of funny.
And then I skipped the one where Anthony makes fun of her having a lot of men.
Well, it's weird because actually Anthony quoted the book. He quoted that passage from the book about Suzanne, which I thought was pretty funny because I was like, why did anybody say that? That, hey, that's from the, whatever.
The best one comes from Maryjo. The kind of woman who would have dated Lee Harvey Oswald in high school about Charlene.
I wasn't sure about that one because, okay, well, never mind. That look on your face, you're like, girl.
So no one Charlene says a little quip about Julia.
Yep.
And Maryjo looks sad as Dash walks around because nobody picked her. And then Dash's like, well, I'll write one for you. Blah, 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 blah. Hellcat in your hair, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, technically, I was really funny because I was like, well, technically, it's not mathematically possible for she to even gotten picked. Technically, because of there being 5 people, it's not like that many. Like, get over it. What?
So then Julia reads hers about Dash, about how he's the best author that they know.
Yes,
yeah.
Didn't like that one. I actually wrote there when it got to that point. This is such a sappy episode. That's what Yeah. So even for me, it was starting to wear thin.
So now we're back at Suzanne's. Dash is leaving. He's in a much better mood. Suzanne is a little jealous.
A little bit jealous.
And he's like, I'll always love you. And he kisses her, and they have
sex.
She probably goes to poop in a corner.
Damn it! That's gonna ruin me. You're gonna bring that up all the time now, and I'm
not.
Lies.
So now we're back at Sugar Bakers.
We are.
Dash left a goodbye note.
He did. It was sweet.
Blah, 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 smut, blah, blah. ends on a black and white photo of them with a penny whistle version of George on My Mind, blah, blah.
You really hated this episode.
Well, Maim, what did you think about this episode?
I mean, it wasn't like the best episode in the world, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was as awful as my compatriot here thought it was, but I did think it was. I thought it was kind of sweet, and
I am sorry that I yucked your yum. I hated this episode. It with every fiber of my being, it was pretentious and crappy and racist. Like it was bad.
Okay.
His acting was bad. Dixie Carter was like, I have to say these words. You could see it, the look in her eye of, I have to read this shit. Julia would not like this kind of novel. What? 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 One more again? What?
Wow.
Ugh.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I'm sorry to yuck your yum. If you enjoyed it, that's...
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like I said. It's not like the greatest episode ever. I just didn't think it was like.
I'm trying to think. Is there a worse episode that we've watched?
Is there a worst episode all around that we've watched so far?
Yeah, which one's worse? Which one's worse so far?
I mean, probably like at least like the sex shaming one. That one was worse. Oh my god.
The sound that saved. Did you find yourself a Miss Georgia world?
I'm gonna have to go with Suzanne in that navy blue dress.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, girl.
God.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
the minute it came on, I grasped my chest.
Cinch to the gods
Yeah.
and out in a nice A-frame.
Like
Oh.
cinch to the gods and had a petticoat on underneath it. Like the whole thing. It was perfect.
Oh,
It was perfect.
oh, oh.
Perfect. I saw it and
Yeah.
I was like, that's why I need to lose some weight.
And easy to poop out of. Mama Maim, I don't know if you still listen to these. If so,
This is probably the last one.
I do
Probably
apologize.
it. She's probably done now.
I do
Like
apologize to you and yours. I would like to.
She's gonna be like, I'm gonna just start listening to you slay me. If that's gonna be, I'm just gonna jump over to that one.
Well-
and then we're gonna talk about geriatric sex.
Well,
You know.
I mean, you know, Maim. Speaking of geriatric sex, tell the listeners where they can find you.
You can find me on
Yo, girl.
Instagram. I hate it. I know. What are we, 60 and gay years now, right? You can find me on Instagram at auntie.maim. That's
that right?
MAIM. You can find me on Facebook at I'm Your Auntie Maim, one word. You can find our collective on Instagram at Mims and Maim, one word. What about you, Mims?
You can find my old ass on Twitter at designingwomen. You can find this wonderful podcast at Baking Sugar Pod. I had to figure out where it was for a second. This has been a trip. Baking Sugar Pod on Twitter. Again, we do have a Patreon, dear listeners. Baking Sugar, Patreon Baking Sugar. Feel free to reach out to us there, support us. We'd love to have your support. Yeah. Whew. Oh, don't forget to tell them where to find you in Florida.
Oh, yes. I forgot. So if you are happening to be down in Miami vacationing or visiting, I host amazing colossal karaoke every Thursday night at 10 p.m. on Miami Beach at this bar called Kill Your Idol. So
See, there you go. drum up support. You got to drum up the support. We have a few listeners.
If you're this bad now, what's it going to be like during seasons 4 and 5?
Oh, we're fine till season 6. Like once we get through this, like it gets better as Suzanne gets fatter. Then she leaves and it gets bad again.
Okay, I'm just concerned.
Look, you don't have. We do one of these a week. You've got like 2 years before we get to that point. Don't worry about it. There's 52 weeks in a year. There's 26 there's 26 episodes a season. We do 2 seasons a year. You got time.
Fine.
You got time. And I should apologize to our dear listeners. I hope I didn't yuck your yum either. But this was a bad episode.
Every time you say that, it sounds much worse each time.
I do it on purpose. But this was a majorly bad episode. Majorly bad.
Please not again. No,
Major.
please no more. Please stop. Stop with the puns. Please stop.
I don't know if I can do anything else here. I think I've reached
done enough.
I think I've reached my apex, and now somebody's going to have to poop in a corner. All right, dear. I'm going to hit stop. Tell everyone goodbye, Maim.
Bye, Maim.
Bye, y'all. Bye.